It's time for high school baseball on the NCW Life Channel. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. And now it's time to go to the diamond on the NCW Life Channel.
Expediently then dial at third. 0-1 the counts, and a look back at the bag at second, and here comes Blakeney's pitch to the plate. Curveball misses outside as again scoring to bunt was Spurrier. Tyler Epperson also due up here in the first inning for the Cadets. Again with a leadoff man aboard on the first pitch, John McDonald lacing it in the left center field for a stand-up double. The next pitch is across, but apparently high, and the count runs to 2 balls and 1 strike. Head coach for Eisenhower is Roger Guzman. Gabe Stotts, his assistant coach, and Christian McDonald, also an assistant. A check swing. Did he go? They will appeal, and the base umpire says no. Paul Weddle out there on the base pass says nope, that was a little bit too high. So the count runs to 3 balls and 1 strike here on John McDonald. Just getting underway here at Recreation Park. Thanks for joining us on the NCW Life Channel. Swing and a miss on a fastball there. Spurrier behind it, and the count runs full now at 3-2. If you're just joining us, first pitch of the ball game was laced in the left center field for a double. Stand up for John McDonald, who's out there at second base right now. Nobody out, no score, top of the first. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. And a nice comeback here for sophomore Thomas Blakeney. Nice job by Blakeney to settle down there and fall behind in the count, but then strike out Malachi Spurrier for the first out to the inning. That'll bring up center fielder Tyler Epperson. So 0-1-0 on the top of the scoreboard for Eisenhower, and 0-0-0 for the bottom of the scoreboard for Wenatchee. This pitch swung on and fouled back and out of play in the count 0-1 here on Tyler Epperson. Epperson, center fielder for the Cadets, listed as a sophomore on their, or a junior on their roster, excuse me. Third man to the plate here for Ike in this top half of first inning. Blakeney with a long look back at second base, and the pitch to the plate bounces in, gets away from Ronan Haynes, goes all the way to the backstop, and that wild pitch will move McDonald down to third base. So a wild pitch moves the runner ahead 90 feet away now from scoring for the Cadets. Wenatchee certainly has had a fine run here. I think I mentioned in our pregame show that Wenatchee, it's 19 games, 19 wins in a row before Wenatchee over Eisenhower. This pitch taken for a strike, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Tyler Epperson. Jeff Zender, in 5 years as head coach, is 17-0 against Eisenhower. There comes the next pitch, swung on a chop foul up the third baseline, and the count still at a ball and 2 strikes. The two teams really haven't played anybody tough so far. They've played the bottom tier of the Big Nine, if you will. So this is the real first test of the season. This pitch swung on and chopped slowly towards second. That's going to score a run. Down to field it is Rubash, and he'll toss over to Files in time for the out. So 4-3 on the putouts, and give an RBI to Epperson as McDonald comes home to score on the play. And Eisenhower up 1-0. So 1-1-0 on the top of the scoreboard. I'm helping our producer engineer back at the studios, Caitlin. Header sheets, zeros on the bottom of the scoreboard, and this bounces in for a ball to Ryan Fowler. 1-0 the count to the catcher for Eisenhower as we're underway now at Recreation Park, historic field here on the campus of Wenatchee High School. This pitch swung on and hit the gap again. This is going to get down for a base hit at least, rounding first and holding there. Nice job by center fielder TJ Shirting to get over, but a laced single to center field by Fowler, second hit of the inning, and that'll bring up the designated hitter Dawson Hoff. Dan, in my bag, can you grab me the clock I've got in there? Maybe it'd be easier if I grab that clock in here. I've got a sundry goodies. Here we go. I can get the proper temperature. Oh, something scratched the front of my clock. Pitch misses, or no, inside strike called by Mark Colander. And the count 0-1 on Dawson Hoff. Hoff listed on their roster as a sophomore. Pickoff move over to first. Diving back safely is the base runner Ryan Fowler. And if you're not familiar with watching games here at Recreation Park, here several years ago when they redid the Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl with the artificial surface, they did a replacement of the infield here as well. This pitch swung on and fouled at the plates. Goes to strike two, 0-2 to Hoff. But they replaced the infield here with that same surface. And so even the brown that you see on your screen is not dirt. It's artificial grass, if you will, artificial dirt, if you will. This pitch swung on and missed, and gone swinging are the Cadets, but they do get a run on 2 hits, 1 man left. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Eisenhower 1, Wenatchee 2 up next. You're watching Panther Baseball today on the NCW Live Channel. We're back after this. So tit for tats, the Cadets start their first at bat with a double, and so too does Wenatchee with a runner in scoring position here in the bottom of the first inning. That'll bring up the shortstop, Dalton Thomas. Thomas now in his junior year for the Wenatchee Panthers. A little discussion at the mound here between McDonald and his catcher, Ryan Fowler, with a runner out at second base, maybe changing up their calls offensively or defensively, if you will. Thomas steps in the right-handed batter's box. McDonald now working from the stretch, and the delivery, a bunt up the third baseline. This one's going to run foul, and will be strike one on Dalton Thomas. Appreciate you joining us here on the NCW Live Channel with our broadcast today coming to you live from Recreation Park. First of 2 today here on our little television station for the Wenatchee Valley in north central Washington, as we will bring you soccer coming up tonight. We'll take those cameras in the outfield and turn them around and pitch back. Speaking of turning around, I was about perfectly timed on the throwback to second base, not in time to get the runner out there. TJ Sherding. Our broadcast today brought to you in part by Wenatchee Valley YMCA for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. It's the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. Swing and a foul back by Thomas here, and the count runs to 0-2 on Dalton. Caitlin Hedersheet, our engineer back in the studios, taking care of all the dials for us. McDonald steps off the back of the rubbers. We have had some showers earlier today, but expecting just kind of the partly sunny skies that we have right now to continue through the afternoon and into the evening. The 0-2 pitch swung on and fouled down the right field line. This one's going to get out of play, and the count remains at 0-2. So we mentioned what's coming up today with soccer tonight at 7 o'clock. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Wisen have your play-by-play, as we'll just spin those cameras around and point them down to the Apple Bowl. The pitch to the plate is in the dirt outside. The runner from second going for third dives in. The ball gets past the third baseman down the left field line. Getting up on his feet, TJ Sherding will come home and score. On the throwing error down to third base, we're tied at 1. Good heads-up play. He got a stolen base at first at, third base. And then on the errant throw by the catcher will come home and score. Meanwhile, the count 1-2 on Dalton Thomas, and the base paths are clear, so going from the windup will be John McDonald. The right-hander's 1-2 pitch swung on and lifted in the air to right field. Backing up a little bit, Jojo Gonzalez to his right will make the catch for the out. That would have scored Sherding from third base on a sac fly, but no need for that here. One down here in the first, and that brings up catcher Ronan Haynes. Ronan steps in from the left-handed batter's box. First pitch to him is a little bit low and inside for ball one. 1-0 the count. Ronan had some troubles with his shoulder during the wrestling season. Hopefully he's back and healthy from that. Ronan in his junior year as catcher for the Panthers. This pitch is a little outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Coming up the rest of the week here on our sports schedule. Wenatchee and Trail playoff game number 4 Thursday night during hockey night at 7 o'clock. This pitch is low and outside for ball 3. 3-0 the count. Good eye by Ronan Haynes trying to get himself aboard with one in and nobody out, or one out here in the first. Get my feet under me still. The 3-0 pitch taking all the way and taken for a strike is Haynes. And the count 3-1. 5 years now coaching for Jeff Zender. This pitch misses outside for ball 4. I was talking with Jeff before the ball game. Jeff and I go way back in the day when I had a radio broadcast called The Great Outdoors. We're going to get a courtesy runner out at first base.
Josh Oakley into the game as a courtesy.
As Josh Oakley will go over there and run at first base for Ronan Haynes so he can get back and get the catching gear on.
Number 11, Colton Dye.
But Jeff, a longtime duck hunting guide here in the area, joined me on my outdoor show way back in the day. So he and I go way back, and we talked a little fishing before the ball game, talked a little bit of baseball too. Colton Dial now stepping in with a runner on and one down for the Panthers, and the first pitch swung on and laced into right field for a base hit. Rounding second, Oakley's going to chug into third base. The throw is late and down the line, and runners on the corners for the Panthers. So Colton Dial waiting no time at all to shoot that one the opposite way to right field. Runners on the corners now for the pitcher who could help his own cause in Thomas Blakeney. Blakeney, we mentioned a sophomore, got quite a bit of valuable time on the mound last year for the Wenatchee Panthers. Starting pitcher here today, gave up a run in the top half of this inning and now could give himself the lead with a runner at third and at first. The pitch to him is taken off speed for a strike, 0-1 the count on Thomas Blakeney. Inning began for Wenatchee with a double by T.J. Sherding. He scored on an throwing error by the catcher. This pitch swung on and fouled out of play on the first base side. The count even now at 1 ball and 1 strike. Our temperature here in the press box at Recreation Park is 67 degrees. Field temperature a little cooler than that with that breeze blowing out to left field. 0-2 count to Blakeney. The runner from first goes. The pitch is outside. The throw down to second base is going to be caught there, and feigning to run home was Oakley, but he'll hold on. So give Colton Dial a stolen base on the play, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Thomas Blakeney. So Blakeney, if he can find a hole out there, might score 2 for Wenatchee. McDonald working from the stretch with runners at second and third. The 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed. The catcher will come out, field the ball cleanly, and throw down to first base will Ryan Fowler. So K2-3 is the official on the putout for the second out of the inning. The runners will hold at second and third respectively. They'll bring up the left fielder Shane Huffaker.
Number 2, Shane.
We've got more soccer coming up on Friday as Eastmont plays host to Moses Lake. That'll be at 7 o'clock on Friday nights. Lacrosse Saturday at 2 with North Central and Wenatchee. And then game 5 of that playoff series between Wenatchee and Trail, Saturday nights at 7 o'clock. Huffaker takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 the count. The delivery by McDonald here bounces in. Nice stop by the catcher Fowler. And their count runs even at 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of pitches here in this first inning for John McDonald. Thanks to Coach Jeff Zender for joining us before the ball game. This pitch swung on the ground and through the gap for a base hit. That's going to score 1 at least. Rounding second, heading for home. Here comes the throw home. It's going to be late and in safely. Sliding is Colton Dial. The Wenatchee Panthers now lead Eisenhower 3-1. Haanen scores easily from third. Oakley running for Haynes scores easily from third base. Colton Dial scores from second base. Give a base hit and 2 RBIs to Shane Huffaker. He goes down to second on the throw. seeing eye single in the gap between the shortstop and the third baseman. And Wenatchee with 3 runs in here in the bottom of the first inning. Runner at second base and right fielder Chandler Holliday coming to the plate. Chandler, one of those sophomores that Coach Jeff Zender talked about in our pregame show. Our pregame show interview with Jeff, by the way, brought to you by Heritage Memorial Chapel, a funeral home with a heritage owned by a trusted friend. Hello to Jeff and the gang at Heritage Memorial Chapel. So after a brief discussion on the mound here, Holliday will step into the right-handed batter's box. McDonald working from the stretch with a runner out at second base, and the first pitch to the plate is high and inside for ball 1. Holliday looked like he wanted to flinch at that one, but holds back. So 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, or 1 error, for Wenatchee in the inning, the error on the defense. So I'll help Caitlin back in the studio here. Top of the scoreboard should read 1-2-1. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. Bottom of the scoreboard should say 3 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for Wenatchee. And a count even on Holliday at 1 ball and 1 strike. Short lead at second. The pitch to the plate swung on and chopped off the plate. Will be a foul ball. Is fielding it on a hop is Ryan Fowler. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. And to Caitlin back in the studio, I'll be calling you at the last out here to have a mid-inning conversation. Michael Price out there, high atop the press box of the Apple Bowl, filming it from that perspective. This pitch swung on and missed, and gone on strikes is Chandler Holliday. But again, Wenatchee gets 3 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on. We'll head to the second inning of play. Wenatchee leading Eisenhower 3-1. You're watching Panther Baseball on the NCW Life Channel. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout. We come to the Recreation Park, and a 1-1 count already on Jordan McLeod as Thomas Blakeney working quickly here in the top of the second inning. Wenatchee on top, 3-1 here over Eisenhower, and he misses that pitch low and inside with a fastball. 2-1 the count to the third baseman, Jordan McLeod, seeing his first at bat of this ball game, first of 3 games this week between these 2 teams. Fastball here taken for a strike to McLeod, and the count evens on McLeod at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Crowding in that right-handed batter's box with his right toe all the way up to the front of the box, then backs out. The 2-2 pitch swung on and chopped foul. The count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tanner Frost and JoJo Gonzalez also due up here. 6, 7, and 8 hitters for Eisenhower in the top of the second. The 2-2 pitch is swung on and grounded towards the shortstop. Up on the ball on a hop, Dalton Thomas. Fields throws a little bit high, but a good job by Colton Fowles over there to snap it for the out. 6-3 on the putout. That's 1 out here in the second. That'll bring up first baseman Tanner Frost.
Number 10, Tanner Frost.
Busy day of broadcasting here on the NCW Live Channel, with soccer coming up next at 7 o'clock. This pitch swung on and fisted into the air right back to the pitcher. Blakeney will squeeze it for the soft line out. 2 down here in the second. Brings up right fielder JoJo Gonzalez. If you missed it in the top of the first inning, John McDonald started the inning off on the first pitch, doubling to left center field. Malachi Spurrier then struck out. Tyler Epperson grounded out to the first baseman. That allowed the run to score as McDonald moved over to the third on a wild pitch. And then Ryan Fowler singled. Dawson Hoff then struck out to end the inning. So they got 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on. And they're half of the first. Gonzalez swings and fouls the first pitch back. 0-2 the count, and this pitch misses low and outside for a ball. 1-2 the count on JoJo Gonzalez, right fielder for Eisenhower. as Thomas Blakeney works here in the second. A swing and a miss on a nasty curveball there. So it turns to be a 3-up, 3-down inning for Blakeney here in the top of the second. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning, and our score remains Wenatchee on top 3-1. You're watching Panther Baseball on the NCW Life Channel. To the bottom of the second we go. Colton Files is up here for the Wenatchee Panthers. Swings and misses at the second pitch to him. Quickly behind in the count to John McDonald, 0-2 the count. Files, Jared Rubash, and TJ Shirting do up here for Wenatchee, and they're part of the second, the 8, 9, and 1 batters. As Wenatchee leads it 3-1 here over Eisenhower. And McDonald ready with a 1-2 pitch. It's a strike, 3 called, gone. Looking is Colton Files for the first out. And that is now 2 strikeouts for McDonald here in the ball game. Brings up second baseman Jared Rubash.
That is the second baseman. Number 5, Jared Rubash.
Rubash steps in from the right-handed batter's box. First pitch bounces in for a ball. 1-0 the count. And Rubash on the season. Also a pitcher for the Wenatchee Panthers. Batting .300 on the young season so far. Count even to him at a ball and a strike, and timeout asked for by Rubash and given to him by the home plate umpire, Mark Colander. On the base paths is Paul Weddle, our officiating crew here this afternoon. The 1-1 pitch is low for a ball. 2-1. Sun coming out from behind the clouds. The 2-1 pitch swung on a miss. The pitch was in the dirt as well. Well, dirt in quotations here, since we don't have dirt around home plate. The 2-2 pitch on the way to Rubash is inside strike called. Rubash thought that ball was nearly going to hit him. He spun back away from it, and it's a called strike. So the second strikeout looking in a row here for the Panthers. 4th strikeout of the ball game for John McDonald. That'll be back to the top of the order for Wenatchee for TJ Shirting, who got things going in Wenatchee's bottom half of the second with a leadoff double. Takes the first pitch high and inside for ball 1, 1-0 the count. TJ took plenty of pitches. In fact, it was a full count that he swung and bashed that ball out in the gap between center and left. Takes this pitch for a ball. 2-0 the count to Shirting, and John McDonald going to be a little careful with the man to the plate right here. This pitch is high with a fastball for ball 3. So a good eye for Shirting. Shirting batting .389 on the season here for the Panthers. In 18 plate appearances, this pitch taken for a ball. So a walk given out with 2 outs here in the second. Brings up shortstop Dalton Thomas. Thomas 0 for 1. He flew out to right in his first at bat back of the first. As we're 2 down here in the second. 3-1 Wenatchee on top. Appreciate you joining us here on the NCW Life Channel. Eric Granstrom with your play-by-play. I'll turn the headphones over to our soccer crew coming up later on. Sebastian Moraga and Matt Weisen with a call of Wenatchee and Sunnyside soccer. That should be a good one tonight, 7 o'clock right here. We'll have our evening newscast coming up in between. The pitch to Thomas is he squared to bunt. Good idea with the third baseman playing back. Takes it for a ball high and outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Thomas with Shirting over at first base. McDonald working from the stretch. Checks the runner at first who goes. The pitch is low. A low strike called, but sliding in safely head first down at second base is TJ Shirting, so give him a stolen base. That's his second stolen base of the ball game, as he stole his way to third, and then an errant throw by the catcher got him down to, scored back in that first inning. This pitch swung on a miss by Dalton Thomas, and the count now a ball and 2 strikes on Thomas. 2 down for Wenatchee. Runner in scoring position again here for the Panthers, leading at 3-1. And a 1-2 count to Dalton Thomas. Pitch to the plate by McDonald, swung on and fouled down the right side, and that's going to be out of play. And the count stays at a ball and 2 strikes. Our broadcast also brought to you in part by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. Thanks to Confluence Health for supporting us here on the NCW Life Channel. 1-2 the count to Thomas as McDonald again takes a little peek over the glove towards the runner at second. This pitch swung on and missed, so he ends up striking out the side, does John McDonald. As Wenatchee leaves a man here in the second, we'll head to the third inning with Wenatchee on top 3-1. You're watching Panther Baseball on the NCW Life Channel. We'll be back after this 60-second timeout. Number 9, 1 and 2 batters due up here in the top of the third for Eisenhower, trailing the Wenatchee Panthers 3-1. Justice Dean, John McDonald, and Malachi Spurrier due up here in the third inning. Dean, a shortstop on the defensive side of things here for Coach Roger Guzman and Gabe Stotts. And the first pitch by Blakeney bounces in for a ball. 1-0 the count on Justice Dean. A couple of base hits back in the first for Eisenhower to score their one run. Ground out scored the runner from third. This pitch swung on and fouled over the first base dugout, and the count evens to Justice Dean at 1-1 strike. It's a cool name, Justice Dean. He's a sophomore. A lot of sophomores in this lineup here for Coach Guzman. Pitch to the plate misses outside by Blakeney, and the count goes to 2-1. Thomas with 3 strikeouts here in the ball game. Looking to get things settled in here to a groove. The 2-1 pitch is right down the middle. Speaking of groove, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looking at the Bruce Bennett report today. Bruce always has some great nuggets of information. This pitch swung on and popped into right field. And right there, Chandler Holliday, they were well schooled on the bat of Justice Dean as he barely has to move to make that catch. 1 out here, and back to the top of the order here for the Cadets for John McDonald. McDonald's the one who started things off back in the first inning, swinging at the first pitch he saw from Thomas Blakeney and laced it into left center field for a double. Takes the first pitch here for a ball. 1-0 the count on John McDonald. But if you can get it, I know they used to print it in the paper. I'm not sure if they still do, but the Bruce Bennett report, this pitch swung on. A nice play at the shortstop position by Dalton Thomas to keep it from going into the outfield, but no throw for him, so an infield single for John McDonald. So now he is helping his own cause. 2 for 2 on the day, and that'll bring up left fielder Malachi Spurrier. Spurrier's 0 for 1 was the victim of the first strikeout of the ball game for Thomas Blakeney. Back in the first inning, steps in the left-handed batter's box. Blakeney now working from the stretch with a runner at first, and a pitch to the plate. Bunt attempt up the third baseline. This one will go foul and will be a strike. 0-1 the count on Spurrier. Looking at the collection of data provided by Bruce Bennett, he said in the last 9 of the 19 games for Wenatchee, going back 6 years, Wenatchee's won 19 in a row. In the last 9 of those games, they've outscored Eisenhower 134-7. You talk about a sizable difference in the last 9 seasons. That's considerable. Toss over the bag at first, not in time to get the runner over there, John McDonald. Malachi Spurrier back in the left-handed batter's box with a count 0-1 on him. The pitch is a little outside with a ball as Ronan Haynes kind of half came out of his crouch behind home plate, the catcher for Wenatchee, maybe expecting McDonald was going to try to beat feet from first to second. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Instead, another toss to the bag at first, and back safely is McDonald on a toss that was a little high over there to the bag at first. Again, Blakeney is set, and the 1-1 pitch is inside for a ball. 2-1. So we're hoping we've got time for all of this that we have planned today here on the NCW Life Channel. baseball, then news, and then soccer. This pitch swung on and fouled into the screen on the third base side, so the count evens now to Malachi Spurrier at 2 balls and 2 strikes. They've talked about hurrying the game up in Major League Baseball. High school game goes much quicker. I mean, yeah, you do have some lopsided scores at times, but they do have the 10-run rule in effect as well. The 2-2 pitch is high for a ball, and count runs to 3 balls and 2 strikes. But you don't have all the jury rigging with their gear at home plates with the batter adjusting his helmet, adjusting his pants, adjusting his belt, adjusting his gloves. You just don't have that here. This pitch swung on and fouled out of play down the left field line, bouncing towards the batting cages down here. Nice new facility down the third baseline for the Panthers. Indoor batting cages here. Very nice. That's also the bullpen where a pitcher will warm up. 3-2 count to Spurrier, and Blakeney with the pitch to the plate swung on and again fouled out of play, and that will carry him off the front of that new facility down the left field line. Big gray building with purple trim, purple doors. Count remains at 3-2 on Spurrier with a runner over at first base. Thomas Blakeney sets, and the delivery is high for a ball, so with a 1-out rally here for Eisenhower. Runners at first and second. That brings up the center fielder, Tyler Epperson. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to second in the first on a slow roller that scored McDonald from third base.
Number 7, Tyler Epperson.
A little conversation between Dalton Thomas and Thomas Blakeney about who's covering the bag at second. And Epperson ready, so too is Blakeney. The pitch to the plate, curveball in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Boy, good old bender there from Thomas Blakeney. Showers earlier. Looks like the clouds have parted. We're going to have sunshine for a while here. Winds also blowing out there a little bit. Out to left here at Rec Park. This pitch low and inside for a ball. Evens the count to Epperson. A 1 ball and 1 strike. 350 down the lines here at Recreation Park. 385 to straightaway center. That's a long way out there, and the fence covered with the ivy. 1-1 the count to Epperson. Runners at first and second. The pitch by Blakeney swung on and fouled at the plate, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Talking with Jeff Sender before the ball game, we've been talking also with the staff and the crew here, Sean as well as Jim Beeson, the athletic director for Wenatchee High School. They've been talking about this ivy, and there's a problem with the ivy as far as pigeons. Pigeons like to eat stuff that's in the ivy, which causes a lot of pigeon excrement. They don't like that. The 1-2 pitch from Blakeney is in the dirt outside. Nice stop by Roland Haynes to keep that ball in front of him. The count evens down to Epperson at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So they've been considering what to do about the ivy, whether to cut it down, to trim it back. It really doesn't fill in until summer, so the high school team doesn't get to enjoy the ivy out on the outfield fence. It's not until summertime when they're playing Legion ball here and such that the fans and the teams really get to enjoy that nice, lush green ivy. Right now, it's just a bunch of brown sticks hanging limply from the outfield fence here at Recreation Park. Epperson back in the right-handed batter's box, and Blakeney with the 2-2 pitch swung on and hit in the air, fouled down the right field line. It'll be a play. In fact, it's going to come back fair for Chandler Holliday. He'll make the catch and then whip that ball back in. That's cut off by Dalton Thomas. So a fly out to right for the second out here of the third. Got some wind help in that one to push it back into fair territory. That'll bring up the catcher, Ryan Fowler. Fowler, the DH, or not the DH, but the cleanup hitter for here for Eisenhower, singled in his first at bat to center. Has a runner in scoring position now with 2 down for the Cadets. Working from the left-handed batter's box, and Blakeney very deliberate on the mound with a pitch to the plate, swung on a chop towards first. On a hop, Colton Files will take it to the bag himself. 3 unassisted for the putout for the third out here in the third inning. So the Cadets get a couple aboard. They leave 2. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Wenatchee still leading at 3-1 over Eisenhower. You're watching Wenatchee Baseball on the NCW Life Channel. beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for joining us on this 10th day of April 2018. Eric Granstrom with you at Recreation Park in Wenatchee, Washington for this Big Nine matchup between the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eisenhower Cadets. Wenatchee leading it 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the third, and the 3-4-5 batters due up for Wenatchee. Ronan Haynes, Colton Dial, and Thomas Blakeney due up here in the third for Wenatchee. Panthers trying to remain unbeaten in Big Nine play, coming in at 6-0 in Big Nine play, 6-2 overall. Haynes will start it off. He walked and scored in the first inning. Good eye by Ronan, and the first pitch to him by McDonald. Swung on and hit hard, but right at the center fielder. Tyler Epperson will back up and make the catch for the out. So one pitch, one out here in the third, and that'll bring up third baseman Colton Dial. Dial singled to right in the first and scored on a two-run double, or two-run single, that is, by Shane Huffaker. As Wenatchee put 3 on the board in the first and have been held there since, as we're in the bottom of the third with 1 down, and the pitch is swung on and missed, and out in front of that one was Colton Dial. 0-1 the count to Dial. Thomas Blakeney waiting on deck. Our broadcast brought to you in part by Wenatchee Valley YMCA for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. This pitch swung on and on a line goes right past the second baseman into right center field. So Colton Dial 2 for 2 today so far. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Thomas Blakeney. Blakeney struck out swinging in the first. He's 0 for 1.
Number 15, Thomas Blakeney.
Field obscured in shadows right now with the sun dipping behind a quick-moving cloud in our horizon. And the pitch to the plate swung on and fouled back, and the count 0-1. Well, everybody's been swinging early here in the counts of this inning, so evidently that meeting over in front of the dugout on the third base side by Coach Jeff Sender says, hey, this guy's throwing early strikes, so let's jump on him early. Ronan Hayes swung at the first pitch and lined it out to center field. Colton Dial swung at the second pitch and lined it to right for a base hit, right center. And Thomas Blakeney now swinging and missing at the first pitch here. McDonald ready, and the 0-1 pitch to the plate is across for a strike, and the count goes to 0-2. Thanks again to Dan Coons for helping us get set up here. Got a little bit later start than we wanted to today, but on the air nonetheless. The 0-2 pitch swung on a chop towards the left side of the infield. Shortstop over. The only play is to first base. Long throw, not in time. Infield single for Thomas Blakeney. Runners at first and second for Wenatchee. Long run for Justice Dean in the gap between short and third. He got the ball, but just couldn't get enough on that throw to get it over to first base in time. So Blakeney aboard on a base hit, and that'll bring up left fielder Shane Huffaker. Well, Shane came up with a couple of ducks on the pond in the first and brought them both home on a single. See what he could do here. This pitch is a curve strike on the outside corner, 0-1 to Huffaker. Appreciate Coach Jeff Sender helping us out before the ball game, giving us his rundown on stats. So we'll look them up as they come up. Huffaker batting .222 on the season, but helping himself out with a base hits and a couple of RBIs in the first. He takes for a strike here. The count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Huffaker. 1 down for Wenatchee here in the third. Runner at second is Colton Dial. Thomas Blakeney at first base. And the pitch to the plate is a little outside. Didn't miss by much. Count goes to 2-2 on Huffaker. McDonald quickly working. And a 2-2 pitch, curveball, just missing outside for ball 3. Good eye by Huffaker. You hear in the crowd here at Rack Park, the partisan crowd for Wenatchee fans, kind of a little giggle. That was awfully close. 3-2 pitch swung on, hit the shallow right field. Right fielder coming in. Looked for a second, like maybe Jojo Gonzalez lost it, but no, he had it the whole way. So makes the catch for the out. Everybody stays pat at their base paths, and with 2 down, that'll bring up right fielder Chandler Holliday. Holliday struck out swinging to end the first, so he'll step up 0 for 1 here in this one. Holliday got behind in the count 1-2 back in the first. This pitch is a curveball, got his knee wiggling, but takes it for a ball. 1-0 the count on Holliday. Holliday batting .357 coming into the game. He gets the ball through the gap here for a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third base. As quickly getting it in was Malachi Spurrier, but a seeing eye single there for Chad Holliday gets through the gap. And now runners around the horn here with 2 down for first baseman Colton Files. Files started out the second, struck out looking.
Number 20, Colton Files.
So Colton stepping in here for the Panthers. Maybe a chance to do some 2-out damage. Looking for his first hit of the season. First pitch he takes for a ball. Gets away from the catcher, but not very far to Ryan Fowler. 1-0 the count on Colton Files. Couldn't help but give Coach a bad time before the ball game. This pitch misses, or in there for a strike, in the count even now to Files at 1-1 strike. You've got Colton Files playing at first base, and you've got Colton Dial playing at third base. So you got Colton's on the corner. Takes this pitch for a strike, and so now he finds himself behind in the count 1-2. Colton chokes up a little bit. The pitch by McDonald swung on him as good curveball there, and works himself out of a bases-loaded jam. Wenatchee gets 3 aboard on 3 hits. They leave 3 big ones on the pond. We'll head to the 4th inning of play. 3-1, Wenatchee on top. You're watching Panther Baseball on the NCW Life Channel. Welcome back once again here to Recreation Park as Dawson Hoff, Jordan McLeod, and Tanner Frost will be up here in the 4th inning of a 3-1 ball game. Wenatchee on top. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Panthers. 1 run, 3 hits, and 1 error for Eisenhower. And a close one here in the battle between first and second in the Big Nine. Wenatchee first place, Eisenhower in second place. The first pitch by Thomas Blakeney is in the dirt for a ball. 1-0 the count to the DH, Dawson Hoff. Hoff struck out on 3 pitches back in the first to end the first inning. His pitch taken with a fastball across the knees for a strike. 1-1 the count. 3 strikeouts to the ball game for Thomas Blakeney, and the 1-1 pitch is inside, missing for ball 2. Followed by McLeod and Frost here in the top half of the 4th. A 2-1 pitch is across, but a little bit low. And the count runs to 3-1 on Dawson Hoff. Well, no time wasted here as Hoff is back in. The pitch to him is taken for a strike, and now it's full on the leadoff man here in the 4th inning. Thomas Blakeney says, okay, I'll pitch as fast as you want to go. This pitch swung on and fouled into the screen and bounces in front of the first base dugout here at Recreation Park. Historic place here in the Wenatchee Valley. Former home of the Wenatchee Chiefs baseball team. This pitch swung on a chop back over the mound. Second baseman over to his right will field. Rubash's throw to first is in time to get the outs. 4-3 on the putout. 1 out here in the 4th brings up the third baseman, Jordan McLeod. McLeod 0 for 1. He grounded out to short in the second. That is 4 retired in a row for Thomas Blakeney. All the scoring happened here in the first inning of this one. This pitch is inside, strike taken for 0-1 the count to Jordan McLeod. Eisenhower with a leadoff double. by John McDonald. He scored on an infield ground out. This pitch is swung on and fouled up the third baseline. And the count goes to 0-2 on McLeod. Nice play by Roger Guzman down there in the third base coach's box. 0-2 pitch to the plate, swung on and again hit foul up the third baseline. Nice attempt over there by Colton Dial, but the count will remain 0-2 on McLeod. McDonald got aboard on a double to lead off the ball game in the first, scored on an infield groundout by Epperson. That gave Eisenhower a brief lead, 1-0, and then Wenatchee came back with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. And that's where we sit. This pitch swung on a miss. It got away from the catcher, but popping out from behind home plate is Ronan Haynes. So a strikeout, 2-3 on the putout. 2 outs here in the fourth, and that'll bring up first baseman Tanner Frost.
First baseman.
Frost with a soft line out to the pitcher, Thomas Blakeney, in the second, so he's 0 for 1 of the ball game. The first pitch to him here misses low and inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. So 4 in a row now retired by Thomas Blakeney, trying to make it 5 as he is able to catch the outside portion of the plate on that off-speed pitch. Count evens down 1 ball and 1 strike. Blakeney ready. The pitch swung on a chopped foul up the third baseline, and that's going to stay foul as Colton Dial goes over there to try to barehand it. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, first of our 2 live broadcasts here of sports on the NCW Life Channel today. We'll turn the cameras around and point them down at the Apple Bowl and soccer coming up at 7 o'clock tonight as Wenatchee hosts Sunnyside. So be sure and hang around for that. The 1-2 pitch swung on a chop back over the mound. Second baseman to his right. Rubash is there. The throw to first in time for the out. So a bunch of infield work here in the fourth. 3 up, 3 down. The story will head to the bottom of the fourth. Wenatchee still on top 3-1. You're watching Panther Baseball today on the NCW Live Channel. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Jared Rubash due up here for the Panthers to lead things off. Swings and misses at the first curveball offer from John McDonald. 0-1 the count to Rubash. 3-1 our score. Wenatchee on top. The 0-1 pitch to Rubash is swung on and missed. Out in front of that pitch. Count goes to 0-2. Rubash, number 9 batter in the order for Wenatchee. He'll be followed by T.J. Shirting and Dalton Thomas here in the fourth. This pitch swung on a miss, so 3 straight pitches, 3 straight strikes, and gone swinging is Jared Rubash. That strikeout for McDonald. 7th of the ball game. How about that? Back to the top of the order, center fielder T.J. Shirting. He's 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored. He walked in his last plate appearance in the second. Standing up here in the fourth, and the first pitch to him from John McDonald is missing outside for ball 1. 1-0 count to T.J. Shirting, and the pitch swung on and lifted in the air to shallow left field. It's going to be a long run for the left fielder on the run. Nice play by Malachi Spurrier, makes the catch for the out. So 2 down here in the fourth brings up shortstop Dalton Thomas. Thomas is 0 for 2. He flew out to right in the first and struck out swinging in the second.
Number 8, Dalton Thomas.
So Thomas looking for his first hit. 2 down for Wenatchee here in the fourth, and the first pitch is a bunt right in front of the plate. Pitcher off the mound will field and throw, and it is in time for the out. So a bunt attempt there by Thomas goes for naught, and 1-3 on the putouts, and that's a 3rd out here in the 4th inning. We will head to the 5th as our score remains Wenatchee 3, Eisenhower 1. You're watching Panther Baseball on the NCW Life Channel. That was a quick-moving 4th inning. Here we go to the 5th, and due up for the Eisenhower Cadets, they're 8, 9, and 1 batters. It'll be JoJo Gonzalez, Justice Dean, and John McDonald. Due up here in the 5th as we have a 3-1 ball game. Wenatchee on top. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for Eisenhower. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for Wenatchee. Gonzalez, 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the second. And And Thomas Blakeney, the sophomore's first pitch here of the inning, swung on and fouled on the third base side. And again, an attempt by Roger Guzman to field that one with his bare hand. Strike one, the count to JoJo Gonzalez. Pretty good-sized kid, batting from the right-handed batter's box. And the 0-1 pitch on the way to him is a curveball in for a strike, and a count 0-2. Our umpires again today, Mark Colander behind plate, calling balls and strikes. Paul Weddle down the baseline. Our base umpire today, the 0-2 pitch is a curveball missing low for ball one. 1-2 the count on Gonzalez. Again, Blakeney with the 1-2 pitch. This one's low and inside, evens the count at 2-2. Our broadcast brought to you in part by Confluence Health, Wenatchee's premier treatment center for all sports-related injuries. Busy broadcast schedule this spring here on the NCW Life Channel with baseball today, soccer later. This pitch swung on and rifled into right field. Chandler Holliday thought about maybe trying to fire that back into first base, but a leadoff base hit for Gonzalez. The fourth hit of the ball game for the Cadets. That'll bring up the shortstop, Justice Dean. Dean is 0 for 1. He flew out to right in the third on a 2-2 count. Now with a runner aboard to start off this fifth. We'll see if Coach Guzman has him lay the bunt down. Third baseman Colton Dial comes running in expecting it, but he does not offer, but takes strike one. 0-1 the count on a pitch on the outside corner. Dean, 1 foot out of the batter's box, looks for the signs from his coach Roger Guzman. Now ready, now scoring to bunt. A pitch on the way to the plate, taken outside for a ball. Evens the count to Dean at 1 ball and 1 strike. Just after 5 o'clock here in the Great Northwest on the NCW Life Channel. Eric Grandstrom with you here today on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. The 1-1 pitch to the plate, bunted right in front of the mound, and off is Blakeney. He'll throw to second, and a little high. The runner sliding into the shortstop covering there, Dalton Thomas, but Thomas does a good job keeping his concentration on catching the ball. And so Dean aboard on the fielder's choice. 1-6. First out is Gonzalez out there at second base, and back to the top of the order for their pitcher, John McDonald. McDonald's 2 for 2 in the ball game, a double in the first and a run scored, and he also singled in the third. Takes the first pitch here for a strike, 0-1 the count. Looked like he wanted to try to lay a bunt down last second, but he wasn't able to touch the ball with a bat. Dean at first, and a toss over there to keep him close to the bag is not in time, but a pretty close play. Good job by Colton Files to get the glove down. 0-1 on John McDonald in a 3-1 game. The pitch swung on as the runner was going from first to second, and he fouls it away, and out of play. The count goes to 0-2 on McDonald. Our broadcast today also brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. For youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility, it's the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. 1 out, 1 on for Eisenhower, trailing at 3-1 here in the top of the fifth. 0-2 count on John McDonald. Pitch by Blakeney, swung on and lifted in the air. It's going to drop in for a base hit. So McDonald trying to help his own cause here is 3 for 3 on the day. A little bloop single. Down to second goes Dean. So runners at first and second. And again, a task for Thomas Blakeney to get himself out of trouble. As Malachi Spurrier will come to the plate. He's 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the first and walked in the third. First, a visit to the mound by Coach Jeff Zender. Talking to his youngster, the sophomore on the mound here for Wenatchee. Again, the Panthers coming in undefeated on the season at 6-0 in Big 9 play. First place in the standings. Eisenhower is behind him, and we're going to get a pitching change here. So, Coach Zender said evidently he doesn't like what the conversation was for Thomas Blakeney. So Blakeney's going to go over to first as we'll have a double sub here. The first baseman for Wenatchee, Colton Files, will head to the bench area, and we will get the name of that pitcher who is coming in for you in just a moment. Looks like Kyle Byers will be coming in to relieve here for the Wenatchee Panthers as we have 2 aboard, 1 down here in the fifth in a 3-1 ball game. We'll come back right after this 60-second timeout on the NCW Life Channel. taking over on the mound now for the Wenatchee Panthers, has pitched in 6 games so far this season for Wenatchee, or 6 innings worth. I'm trying to get my photo I took of Coach Zender's stats here. 6 innings pitched, has saved 1, has no official record on the season. He's only given up a couple of hits, so a good man in relief here for Wenatchee, as the senior will take over with runners at first and second, and Malachi Spurrier to the plate. And the first pitch is a curveball missing inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count on Malachi Spurrier. Justice Dean at second base, John McDonald at first base. And the 1-0 pitch on the way to the plate is high for a ball. 2-0 the count. Not what you want from Kyle Byers. If you're Coach Jeff Zender, you want him to come in and throw some strikes right away. Behind in the count here. And the 2-0 pitch on the way to Spurrier is a fastball outside corner called strike, and the count goes to 2-1. Again, Spurrier 0 for 1 in the game officially. He struck out swinging in the first and walked in his last plate appearance in the third. So he'll be happy to sit there and let you throw balls. Turn around, move to second base, and almost got the runner out there at second. Nice spinning and throwing move by Byers. The senior for the Panthers, with Rubash covering the bag, nearly picked off the runner, Justice Dean. Now the 2-1 pitch to Spurrier on the way to the plate. Bunt attempt, fouled it off, and the count even now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, first of 3 games these two teams will play this week in this battle for first place in the Big Nine, if you will, with Wenatchee on top 6-0. Eisenhower second place at 6-3. Wenatchee leading this one here. Then they'll play a doubleheader on the road at Yakima coming up on Friday. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way by Byers after a runner check at second. Swung on and missed. The runner's out. The runners will move up on a pitch that got away in the dirt. Because there was a base runner at first base, even though the catcher dropped the ball or missed the ball and the pitch in the dirt, it is a strikeout on Spurrier. He cannot try to advance to first base with first base occupied. Meanwhile, down to third goes Dean. Down to second goes McDonald. There's 2 outs here in the inning. That'll bring up center fielder Tyler Epperson. First pitch to him is a curveball missing outside for ball 1. Epperson was able to score a run back of the first on a ground out to second. He flew out to right in the third. Kyle Byers trying to get his Panthers out of trouble here in the top of the 5th inning. The 1-0 pitch is across the knees for a strike, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike on Epperson. Tying runs in scoring position here for Eisenhower, trailing at 3-1 as we're 2 down in the top of the 5th inning. And the 1-1 pitch to the plate is in the dirt outside. Beautiful stop by Ronan Haynes on that pitch, way outside, and the count goes to 2-1. Squinting into the sunshine, perched upon the bag at third is Justice Dean. Out there at second base is John McDonald representing the tying run. The pitch to the plate is swung on and missed on a pitch in the dirt, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan Fowler, the catcher, hoping for a chance on deck, but he's got the shin guards on, thinking, well, there's 2 down here. We'll see how this goes. 2-2, the count to Epperson. Byers relieving in the 5th. Pitch swung on, chopped towards shortstop. On the ball is Thomas. The throw to first in time. They got him and get out of the inning. 6-3 on the putout. The final out occurs here in the 5th. They leave 2 men aboard to Eisenhower. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th, and it's still a 3-1 ball game. You're watching Wenatchee Baseball today on the NCW Life Channel. Winds have picked up a little bit right to left here at Recreation Park, and I'm sure our cameraman Michael Price probably battling that up on top of the press box in the Apple Bowl as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Fans here breathing a little easier after a big threat in the top half of the inning by Eisenhower. It'll be Ronan Hayes, Colton Dial, and Thomas Blakeney due up here for Wenatchee, and they're part of the 5th inning, leading at 3-1, and for Coach Jeff Zender and the Wenatchee fans gathered here I'm sure they'd love it to get a little more insurance as we head to the bottom of the fifth. And Ronan Haynes steps in. The first pitch to him is a slider strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Haynes 0 for 1 of the ball game. He walked and scored in the first and lined out to center in the third. The 0-1 pitch to him bounces in for a ball, and the count even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Our broadcast brought to you in part by Heritage Memorial Chapel, a funeral home with a heritage owned by a trusted friend. The 1-1 pitch to Haynes is high and away for a ball. 2-1 the count. Again, first of 2 live sports broadcasts here today on the NCW Live channel. Soccer coming up next. The 2-1 pitch misses outside for a ball. 3-1 count on Ronan Haynes to start off the bottom of the fifth. 7 o'clock game time for Wenatchee and Sunnyside in the Apple Bowl. This pitch misses high, so a leadoff walk issued here by John McDonald to Ronan Haynes. That is the 3rd walk of the ball game by McDonald. That'll bring up third baseman Colton Dial, who's a dangerous man today. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game with a couple of singles and a run scored. Colton going the other way with a couple of pitches here in this ball game so far. McDonald looking for a little extra shoulder room out there on the mound, feeling the pressure right now. With a runner at first base, nobody outs, and Dial stepping in the right-handed batter's box. McDonald ready, and the pitch to the plate misses outside for a ball. So if you're Colton Dial, maybe you wait a few pitches, see if that McDonald's going to throw a strike here. To the bag at first. Shallow lead over there was Ronan Haynes. Is it Haynes, or did I miss it that they brought in Oakley again to run? I think they brought Oakley in over there as a courtesy runner for the catcher at first base. So that is Oakley over there. And the pitch to the plate is a cross for a strike, and diving back to the bag is Oakley. And the count evens to Colton Dial at 1 ball and 1 strike. It was Oakley that came in and ran for Haynes back in the first inning when Oakley scored on a 2-run single by Shane Huffaker. That gave Wenatchee the 3-1 lead. They still enjoy now. The 1-1 pitch, curveball in there for a strike, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on the Panther third baseman, Colton Dial. Senior back in, crowding that plate a little bit from the right-handed batter's box. And the 1-2 pitch from McDonald swung on and lifted in the air to right field. See what the wind does to this one. Right fielder comes in, and Jojo Gonzalez makes the catch for the out. So the first out here in the fifth is a fly out to right. That'll bring up first baseman now, Thomas Blakeney. Blakeney started our game as Wenatchee's pitcher, but was replaced with 1 out in the fifth after giving up back-to-back base hits. So now Blakeney steps in. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out in the first. This pitch swung on and chopped back over the mound. Double play opportunity. They'll flip it to second for 1. Relay to first is in time for the 6-4-3 double play, and that'll do it for Wenatchee. No runs, no hits, nobody left on. We'll head to the 6th inning here at Recreation Park with Wenatchee leading at 3-1. You're watching Panther Baseball today on the NCW Live channel. Welcome back to Recreation Park. To the 6th inning we go. Ryan Fowler, Dawson Hoff, and Jordan McLeod due up here for the Ike Cadets, number 4, 5, and 6 batters in the order. As Kyle Byers will continue to pitch in relief here for Wenatchee. Big right-handed senior on the mound. The coach for Eisenhower, a little slow giving some instructions to his dugout, Roger Guzman. Now he's ready, now we're ready, and the first pitch is a curveball, swung on and missed by Fowler. And they count 0-1 on Fowler, who's 1 for 2 in the ball game, singled to center in the first, and grounded back to the pitcher in the third. 0-1 pitch to him here is in the dirt inside, bouncing away from catcher Ronan Haynes. Count runs to 1 ball and 1 strike. Wenatchee traveling to Yakima on Friday for a doubleheader at Eisenhower. This pitch, fastball, misses inside for ball 2. 2-1 the count on Fowler. It'll be followed by Hoff and McLeod here in a 3-1 ball game in the 6th inning. This pitch taken for a strike, and the count evens at 2-2. Seems to be a popular number for Kyle Byers anyway. First 2 batters he faced, Spurrier and Epperson, also ran the count 2-2. This pitch swung on a chop back over the mound. Shortstop in, Talton Thomas fields, but the throw low. Blakeney can't dig it out over at first base, and so safe Ryan Fowler. That was a tough play. I don't know if they'll give him a hit or an error on that one. Looks like they will ring it up as an error on Dalton Thomas on the throw to first base. So E6 on Thomas. Tough play still. Had to come in hard on that one, as Dawson Hoff will now step in. Umpire making some notations here. I don't see any changes defensively for Wenatchee, and I haven't seen an offensive change yet for Eisenhower as Dawson Hoff steps in wearing number 13. Fowler over at first base. Oh, they did bring a courtesy runner in for the catcher, so that's what I did not catch. This pitch misses outside for a ball. 1-0 the count, so let's see if I can get a number off of the front of the jersey of the youngster over at first base. He's wearing number 2, so that would be Drew Cornegay. So Cornegay over running at first. And the pitch swung on and fouled back and evens the count to Hoff at 1 ball and 1 strike. Kyle Byers working in relief of Thomas Blakeney, checks the runner at first, and he's going to go that way. And Blakeney applying the tag, but on the back foot of Cornegie, who got back to the bag in time. Count remaining at a ball and a strike to Dawson Hoff. Pitch to the plate, swung on, hit on a ground, a hop to the third baseman. He'll go to second for 1, and no relay to first base. Colton Dial coming in on that play was able to get the ball over to Jared Rubash at second to get the force there. So 5-4 on the putout. That's 1 out, and Dawson Hoff aboard on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up third baseman Jordan McLeod. So Cornegay gone on the base paths. Hoff is out there now at first base. And we got another substitution as a pinch hitter will come in. Stephen Abb will be the pinch hitter here for Jordan McLeod. Abb listed as a freshman.
Number 14, Stephen Abb.
So Abb steps in, freshman here for the Ike Cadets in the right-handed batter's box as they trail at 3-1 with a runner on and 1 down here in the 6th. The pitch swung on and hits right towards the second baseman. They'll flip it to second for 1. Relay to first in time. And just like that, a twin killing the doctor ordered. 4-6-3 on the double play, and that'll do it here in the 6th for Eisenhower. They get a runner aboard, an error, and nobody left on with the twin killing. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Wenatchee still leads it 3-1. You're watching Wenatchee Baseball today here on the NCW Life Channel. To the bottom of the 6th we go. The number 6, 7, and 8 batters due up here for the Wenatchee Panthers. Shane Huffaker will start things off. He's 1 for 2 with a 2-run single and takes the first pitch for a strike. 0-1 the count to him here. He flew out to right in his last at bat in the 3rd. He'll be followed by Chandler Holliday and Colton Files for Wenatchee. This pitch misses low for a ball. Evens the count to Huffaker at 1 ball and 1 strike. 3-1 Wenatchee on top. 1 run, 5 hits, 1 error for Eisenhower. 3 runs, 6 hits, and an error for Wenatchee. The 1-1 pitch is across but high for ball 2. 2-1 the count. Pretty good crowd on hand here on what turned out to be a sunny afternoon for this baseball game in a recreation park. Missing inside is John McDonald for ball 3. 3-1 the count. McDonald working into his 6th inning here. He has thrown quite a few pitches. The 3-1 pitch to the plate, swung on and hit in the air to center field, and jogging in a few steps is Tyler Epperson. He will make the catch for the out, and with one out, that'll bring up right fielder Chandler Holliday. The umpire was making some notations here between innings that there may have been a defensive change. And I'm trying to find that out there. I don't see it at this point. This pitch swung on and fouled away by Holliday, who's 1 for 2 in the ball game. He struck out swinging in the first and singled to left in the third. Kind of an infield single. 1-1 to count to him here as he'll take the next pitch in the dirt for a ball. And the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Get my binoculars out here and take a look around the infield, see if there's any changes. This pitch swung on and missed by Holliday, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Everybody still looks the same defensively here for the Cadets. The 1-2 pitch misses outside, evens the count at 2-2. We mentioned soccer coming up next at 7 o'clock following our local news here on the NCW Life Channel. Sunny side of Wenatchee Soccer from the Apple Bowl, just across the way here. This pitch swung on and hit hard, cuffing the shortstop. His throw to first is not in time. We'll see if that's a base hit or an error. That was a tough hot shot play, but they're going to give an error on the shortstop. So Holliday aboard at first with 1 out here for Wenatchee. And that'll bring up Kyle Byers will bat here for Colton Files. That was maybe the notation the umpire was making with the help of Coach Jeff Sender. So Byers up to the plate now with a runner at first and 1 down for the Panthers. And the pitch to him is taken for a strike. 0-1 the count on Colton Byers. Rest of the week, hockey night Thursday night. Wenatchee trail game 4 of their playoff series. 7 o'clock right here on the NCW Life Channel. Your home for hockey on Thursday nights. The 0-1 pitch to Byers on the way, swung on and fouled back and out of play, and the count goes to 0-2. Coming up Friday, more soccer. Eastmont hosting Moses Lake at Wildcat Stadium. Sebastian Moraga, Matt Wiesen with your play-by-play. That's at 7 o'clock on Friday. Lacrosse live for the Apple Bowl Saturday at 2, followed by Wenatchee and Trail Game 5 of their playoff series at 7 o'clock Saturday night. This pitch swung on and grounded towards the shortstop, fumbling with the ball. He's not going to get that throw to first in time, and another error going to be charged on Justice Dean. Everybody safe. Holliday down to second. Byers at first base. And they're going to bring a courtesy runner in for the pitcher. As jogging out there for Wenatchee. As Parker Mabian in there to run. And with a runner, courtesy runner at first base. That'll bring up the second baseman, Jared Rubash. After a conversation on the mound here, they're going to leave John McDonald in, are the Cadets. Rubash 0 for 2. I don't know, maybe it won't be Rubash for Wenatchee. It will be a pinch hitter. Nolan Dory will come in to bat. So Nolan Dory will be the hitter here for Wenatchee. Sophomore will step in with the runners at first and second and 1 down. Holliday out at second base.
Number 7, Nolan Dory.
Courtesy runner out at first base. And I think we're all ready to go here as Dory is in and ready. McDonald in and ready. And the pitch to the plate swung on and chopped back over the mound. Double play chance. They'll flip it to second for 1. The relay to first is in time. They got him. 6-4-3 double play, and that'll do it here for Wenatchee. They get a couple of men aboard on 2 errors. They leave 1. We'll head to the 7th, 3-1. Wenatchee holding on to that 2-run edge. We'll be back next on the NCW Life Channel. seventh inning we go as Kyle Byers continues his warm-up tosses here for the Wenatchee Panthers. Due up for Eisenhower, and they're part of the seventh. Tanner Frost, JoJo Gonzalez, and Justice Dean. As we bring you live baseball here on the NCW Live channel, we are going to have a pinch hitter come up to start off the seventh inning. It will be Preston White to bat here for the Cadets. So Preston White, a junior, steps to the plate here from the right-handed batter's box to start things off for head coach Roger Guzman, as his team trails at 3-1. Pitch to the plate by Byers is in for a strike, and the count 0-1 to Preston White. Well, Byers has come in and retired a bunch of guys in a row here after the double play in the sixth. He's basically faced 5 men and got 5 outs. There was a runner aboard in the sixth on an error, but he did not get anywhere. This pitch swung on and grounded towards the third baseman, right there to field and throw, and in time is Colton Dial. 5-3 on the putouts. 1 out here in the seventh. And scheduled is right fielder JoJo Gonzalez, and it will be JoJo Gonzalez to bat here for Eisenhower.
Number 24, JoJo Gonzalez.
Gonzalez is 1 for 2. He struck out swinging in the second and single to right in the fifth. First pitch to him here, he is taken a little low for ball 1. 1-0 the count. A week from tonight, we'll feature soccer on the NCW Live channel. This pitch swung on and chopped on a hop to the shortstop. Dalton Thomas kind of fumbled it around and cannot make the play for Wenatchee. So an error going to be charged here on Thomas. Second error of the ball game for Wenatchee. And a pinch hitter, a man who came in earlier as a pinch runner or a courtesy runner, is now going to hit for Eisenhower. Drew Cornegay now steps in here for Eisenhower with a man aboard and 1 down in the seventh. And the pitch by Byers. This is high with a fastball for ball 1. But a week from tonight, it'll be Wenatchee Boys Soccer hosting Eisenhower. Then a week from Friday, Wenatchee Eastmont Soccer. Boy, that should be a good one there. This pitch misses high for ball 2. 2-0 the count on Drew Cornegay. Of course, if Wenatchee has anybody warming up in the bullpen, we can't see it as it's back in the new building here down the third baseline here at Recreation Park. 2-0 count on Cornegay with a runner at first and 1 down in a 3-1 ball game. This pitch swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and it'll carry him off the fence down there, and the count goes to 2-1 on Cornegay. If you want to see our broadcast schedule, head to our website, ncwlife.com, and do a search for our spring sports schedule. 2-1 count to Cornegay, and the pitch to the plate by Byers swung on, lifted in the air, foul territory. Could be a play, though, for Colton Files. For Tyler Blakeney, and he will make the catch for the outs. A foul pop to the first baseman for the second out here in the seventh. And John McDonald will come to the plate.
That's pitcher number 12, John McDonald.
So Cornegay actually batted in the 10 hole, if you will, for the second out. And now McDonald coming to the plate with a strike to him. He's 3 for 3 in the ballgame with a double and 2 singles and a run scored. It's been a one-man wrecking crew here. And the pitch to him misses way outside, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike on John McDonald. Nice job again by Ronan Haynes to stretch to his right and stop that ball behind home plate. 1-1 count to McDonald as again Byers comes set. The pitch to the plate, swung on and chopped slowly towards the third baseman, fielding it and throwing it and getting the out is Colton Dial. So a nice job by Wenatchee And the Panthers will come away here victorious, 5-3 on the putouts. And we will come back with some final thoughts coming up. We'll take a 2-minute break and get some stats done here as both teams approach to home plate to shake hands after the Wenatchee Panthers win a tight one here today by a score of 3-1. Back after a 2-minute break to wrap up here from Recreation Park right after this on the NCW Life Channel. Welcome back once again to Recreation Park. One more time around here on the NCW Life Channel as the Wenatchee Panthers hold on to beat the Ike Cadets, and really it was all done in the first inning. 1 run for Eisenhower in the first and 3 runs for Wenatchee in the first, and then goose eggs after that as Wenatchee gets the victory here today. Thomas Blakeney will get the win on the mound. He goes 5 1/3, allowed 1 run on 5 hits. That 1 run. I was just trying to add up his strikeout total for the day today. Let's see, that's 3, that's 4. That's 4 strikeouts for Tyler Blakeney to get the victory. Kyle Byers comes in, does a nice job in relief here. Got a little bit tight there in the 6th inning, but got a nice double play off of a ball hit by Stephen Abb to end the inning, and that really ended any threat for Eisenhower here in the contest as he'll get the save for Wenatchee. Blakeney with the win. Meanwhile, offensively for the Panthers, well, they didn't get a lot of hits here today as they just put 6 in play here for the contest, but big double to start things off by Tyler Shirting. He ends up 1 for 2 on the day with a run. Ronan Haynes gets a run. Colton Dial gets a run. He goes 2 for 3 with the run scored. And Shane Huffaker with the big hit for Wenatchee, the hero of the day, with a 2-run single in the first, and that would give Wenatchee the lead to win it by a final of 3-1. John McDonald goes the whole way for Eisenhower. He takes the loss. He gave up 2 of which earned on 6 hits. He struck out 7 and walked 3 Panthers in the contest. But again, it is Wenatchee coming out on top 3-1, so they were improving to 7-0 on the season, 7-2. While Eisenhower will drop to 6-3 in Big 9 play, 6-4 overall. That's going to do it here for today from Recreation Park. But don't forget, we've got the latest local news coming up at 6 o'clock, and then more sports with soccer. Wenatchee hosting Sunnyside at 7 across the way in the Apple Bowl. Thanks to Michael Price, our cameraman up on top of the Apple Bowl over there. Thanks to Dan Coots and to Jay Seaback, and of course to Caitlin Hedersheet back in the studios. I'm Eric Grandstrom, and that's going to wrap it up here for baseball. But again, soccer coming up about an hour and 16 minutes from right now as Wenatchee beats Eisenhower 3-1. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Concludes our broadcast of high school baseball on the NCW Life Channel. Tonight's broadcast was brought to you by the Wenatchee Valley YMCA. We now return to regular programming already in progress on your source for sports for North Central Washington, the NCW Life Channel.